I think number one, there are a lot of men who say that shit because it sounds cool. Excuse my
Thank
language.
you.
Who say that because it sounds cool and they're not really about that life. So it's become popularized to say, I don't want any strings attached. I just want to, smash or whatever. And a lot of dudes
Yes.
actually, that's a facade. They might not even know it themselves. So maybe they
Hello.
think that that's how they feel, but deep down inside, they really, do want female interaction and a relationship and something intimate. But they're covering up with this masculine image or, facade or whatever.
So real quick.
Into your dysfunction is not your
Right.
friend.
Not
They're
your
not
friend.
your friend.
Right. Not your friend.
Pay attention. Well, I was telling somebody this the other day. We all go through these periods where we're off our game, right? I rarely have a bad day, so I might have a bad 10 minutes. I'm different, right?
Yeah, you know what? Me and you are.
There's people, but it's human, right? It's human. We're never always going to be on our game, right? We're gonna fall off, right? What you should pay attention to is in your moments when you've fallen off and you're indulging in dysfunction. You need to pay attention when you finally get out of it. Everything's clear now. You're seeing a little bit more clearly. Pay attention to the people who were encouraging you in your dysfunction, and then get rid of those people.
Get rid of them.
When you finally come out of it and you're back to thinking clearly, look back at your period of dysfunction and say, who was encouraging me to indulge in all this stuff? Who was pushing me into this detrimental activity? Yeah. And then cut those people out of your life.
How long did it take you to realize that you had an addiction? Because I think there are like 95% of men who are addicted to sex and don't know it.
Oh yeah, sure.
It took me a very long time to realize even look at the symptoms of addiction. If you're looking at comparing it to like other things like drug addiction, when I'm looking at these symptoms like side by side, I'm like, oh, like if I don't have access to this thing, it's altering my mood. It's, you know what I mean? Like if my wife tells me no, I'm suddenly gonna start having this dialogue in my head to justify why it's okay for me to go seek attention from other women. She's my dealer and she's not supplying me, so now I need to go do something, right? So like it's these things where it's before I had an awakening, I didn't even realize I was addicted to sex. If not having access to this thing is drastically changing your mood, that's a problem. That's an addiction. It's not. This is not something you think in your mind that it's just. Oh, I like sex, but that's not what it is. I like Doritos. If I don't have them, I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? That's like. That's what like is. I love ginger ale. If I don't have ginger ale
for a year,
I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have access to sex and you turn into a different person, that's an issue. That's a very serious issue that you need to really do some self-exploration. It's not normal. We've normalized it, but that's not normal.
Yeah.
Also, y'all got products.
Well, you know, Y is selling the gay pride window treatments. So if anybody needs that. So I just want to put that out there.
Why?
If anybody would support a black business.
Now those are the colors of the
chocolates.
You know, so if your break immediately went to homosexuality,
okay.
I don't think it's a reflection.
All I know is there are a bunch of men out there who claim to be alpha males or claim to be the leaders of their household or even claim to be gods. You call yourself a god or whatever you call yourself. You're the head of your family. And my comment is to you guys. If you're a man that speaks like that, then the responsibility for how the situation turns out is on you. Mm-hmm. You are no longer afforded the luxury of saying, but what about women? Oh, but they do this too. Or she does blah, blah. You don't. If you're the leader, when I was in the military, if I am in charge of this group of people, I'm responsible for everything.
They're gonna go talk to them.
It's me. I'm responsible for how this turns out.
Yeah.
If the situation between men and women is messed up, you have to look at yourself and say, how can I, not even saying I blame myself, it's my fault. Forget fault. At this point, you have to look at yourself and say, okay, what can I do personally to fix it? Or to try to help it or make some type of forward progress. Not looking at the female counterpart and saying, okay, well, women do it also, or they're also responsible. If you're the alpha, this god, alpha male, leader of the head of the household, leader of the pack, whatever you are, it's on you. It's your job. If that's the mantle you're adopting for yourself, then you are responsible for how it turns out.
Now, let me just interject. I know a lot of alpha males, and I've never heard one of them say I'm an alpha male.
Yeah.
But if you say that,
if you're self-proclaiming this thing, or whatever.
I never heard anybody look. Hey, I'm the alpha.
I'm that dude.
Never seen that.
Right, but if you are,
but if you that dude, then I understand you just put that on you.
Right. What comes with that is you don't get to point the finger anymore.
Nobody.
That's not how that works.
I submit to you is I trust you. It's not I serve you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's literally I'm gonna let you make the decisions because I trust you to lead us where we need to go. It's important to know so you don't submit to the wrong man.
Yeah.
Like that's
Absolutely.
You need to make sure that man
You
is
gotta
worthy
submit
of
to
your
somebody
submission.
who's submitting to something.
Exactly.
What do you think they're going to just tell us about all the aliens and all the diseases and the Cold War that's going on and all? They're not going to. This is America. Like they're not. Donald Trump is probably the most honest president we've ever had because he doesn't know any better.
He did. He too stupid to know better.
I think what the confusion is that the difference between man and masculine. So there's like women who exhibit masculine traits and there's men who exhibit feminine traits. So it's not necessarily like just because this man has a penis, he's going to initiate. If he has feminine, if he's leaning towards feminine characteristics or traits or whatever, he's not going to be the initiator in an exchange. So it's really not so much man-woman, it's more masculine and feminine.
Right.
The masculine energy is forward and the feminine energy is receptive. It's not necessarily man and woman. It's just that men and women tend to lean one way or the other.
Right.
Like innately.
I agree with that.
And there's exceptions to that all the time. My comment about balance is that we all need a little bit of both.
Right.
Like it's important for you to get in touch with your feminine side. Doesn't mean you're trying to become a woman or you're going to be homosexual or whatever it is. It just get in touch with your softer side. Learn how to be soft. Because there's a time to be soft. Right. If you're a man who can't ever be soft, that's a problem.
Yeah. So why do they still end up in so many unhealthy relationships?
That's the question they're asking themselves every day.
And that brings
that's what we
that brings me to my point. Well, is they end up in these unhealthy situations and they end up much deeper into the relationship than they, a sane person would be because of this attachment to the idea of being in a relationship. Right. And that's my advice to women. What I think women need to know is to not enter into your interactions with men with this idea of being in a relationship so tightly in your grasp. Don't hold on to it so tightly. So don't become attached to the idea of marriage or a committed relationship. Approach these interactions with the intent of just enjoying yourself and just spending time with the person and living in the moment. Don't think about what it's going to mean for tomorrow. Just focus on today, right? And if it naturally develops into a committed relationship, great. But if you're going into it with the intention of I'm dating this person because I'm looking for a husband, you're going to blind yourself to all of the red flags that would normally see you exiting this thing early before it got 2 years in, and now you're figuring out that you're with a terrible person, that you could have probably found that out, the first date.
First, you have to look at the definition of lynching. As Black people, we normally tend to think of lynching as being hung from a tree, but lynching by their definition is actually just mob justice, where like a group of people just decide that you're guilty and then go kill your ass. So it's not specifically hanging from a tree. Lynching is literally just a group of people just deciding to kill you, another citizen, without trying you or sending you to trial. That's what lynching is. So the anti-lynching is literally just saying.
So George Floyd was lynched.
Right. My point is this: we joke a lot and we condemn or whatever. We might talk harshly, but I also think it's important to remember that it's possible to call a thing and have compassion. So I can still look at his plight and still be compassionate about and have empathy about his situation and still denounce his actions. I think it's very important to do that. It's not either or. And I think people are falling into this idea that they either have to hate R. Kelly or have compassion.
You don't have to hate anybody.
No.
It's like,
and I don't celebrate his downfall. That's one of the things that I see a lot is people celebrate. Like, let's say somebody's even with this.
That's unfortunate too.
It's this Amber Geiger, is that her name?
Yeah.
That police officer.
Oh yeah.
People are celebrating that she got a jail sentence. So while I'm grateful that the system is starting to hold people accountable, I'm not happy that a human being has to even go through any of that. You know what I'm saying? Either of them. The family of the victim or the person who's going to jail for 10 years because they did this thing or whatever. I'm not happy about any of that stuff. I wish none of that ever happened.
Nothing good.
I wish that man was still alive.
There's nothing redeeming about it.
Yeah, I'm not celebrating that.
Before we get out of here, it was on my heart to publicly declare my love for all of y'all. and by y'all I mean the people on this podcast with me right now, this broadcast. I love each and every one of you guys. I wanted to publicly announce that because I feel like it's something that's important for Black men to do, to publicly love on each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Love you too, brother.
We love you too, brother. We love you too.
Float away, be free.
Give me a moment, baby. Just a minute. So much on my mind tonight. Just wanna talk about it. Yeah. Now don't you worry, don't you worry, no. My life won't be the same without it. Don't you ever doubt it, 'cause this thing is real life. Love every single thing you do. Darling, don't you ever go away. I need your loving every day. You got it, yeah. There ain't nothing that I won't do for you, baby. Just let me